So I'm going to whip through these pretty quickly. A lot of people have seen 4th edition. Some of the artwork is same for the ABU blocks. There's quite a lot of 4th edition cards out there. When I said in the preview that these cards felt a bit dry, they felt like they might be fake, but I don't think they are. I think they're just regular 4th edition. 4th edition had alternative edition, which I've got I managed to pick up one box of a while back, which has a kind of, instead of this sort of very shiny texture to it and more dry texture to it, it's more like a it's more of a sort of a waxy, plasticky feel to the cards. Very different, but very nice. There has to be quite a lot of 4th edition out there. I have quite a lot. So I'm just going to go through a few of these cards quickly. What we pick out any like artwork that stands out, like this funny dude with the nose. Karma. During each player's upkeep, Karma deals 1 damage to each player. I would, if you're building up a collection, I would recommend picking up some of these, some 4th edition, because it has the old artwork on it, and it's the cheapest, probably the cheapest way you can get hold of that artwork. Really having some problems with my camera today. Apologies for that, having a few technical issues with the autofocus. I haven't used this camera a lot, so just trying to get it to focus on what I want it to get focus on at the moment. So like I was saying, yeah, if you're starting a collection, I would recommend picking up some 4th edition. It has the old artwork for the ABU set, but it's much cheaper, so you can get the best of both worlds. Obviously it's not going to be worth anywhere near those older sets or the revised set, but it is actually very, very nice to see the artwork, or to own the artwork for these cards. So loads of white cards here. In fact, this set was mostly white. White cards don't tend to be the ones that have the greatest value, but then 4th edition is not really a set that has many cards of value in it. Some artifacts. I really like this artwork, very Art Deco style. Who is it? Richard Thomas. Haven't seen a lot of his stuff. Beautiful angel there. Particularly nice. I think this is a Quentin Hoover. He's kind of like the precursor to the Rebecca Gay style. Has the sort of outline drawings, very, very stylistic. I can't remember who the artist that started this style off, but definitely very stylistic. I think I've pulled out anything that's worth anything in this particular set. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, it produces 1 additional mana of the same type. That might be worth something. Quite like the artwork on this one, very colourful. Sinbad. Draw a card. If it's not a land, discard it. That's quite cool. Actually, that's quite a handy little card to have for you know, it's quite cheap to have a creature that draws cards like that. Obviously losing the land is not too good, but Mind Bomb, this is quite funny, isn't it? It's like, there's some sort of bomb made out of a brain, so yeah. Kismet, this is a very famous piece of art. If you look very carefully, you can see that the lady has got the tiger's eyes and the tiger has taken her eyes. So all target players' creatures, lands and artifacts come to play tapped. Interesting. This is quite a beautiful card. Visions. Some black cards. I'll probably go through a few of my favourites of these 4th editions in a later video, but yeah, just quickly going through exactly how much we got. At least 4 or 5 decks worth of what they're called, 4 or 5 starter decks worth of 4th edition cards with this lot. There's the Darker Ritual, the original artwork. So a lot of sets have a Dark Ritual, and a lot of them have, after the 4th edition, 5th edition, they were all kind of unique for a set. You didn't get many repeats of the Dark Ritual, I'm not sure why, but I quite like the fact that there's so many different Dark Ritual artworks. Okay, so got a couple more stacks of these. Life Force, I think that might be a rare. Urza's Avenger, I've not heard of this card before. Not too familiar with it. For 0, Urza's Avengers get -1/-1 to the end of turn, and your choice of banding. Okay, so you can give it, you can make it a bit smaller, but you can give it some extra abilities. So that's quite cool. Life Force, counter target, black spell, play this ability as an interrupt. That's actually quite a good card. There's not many counter spells in green. Especially since green, like black, is the enemy of green in the game. So this card, I don't think it's been repeated in many other sets. Obviously it's quite green expensive, but it could be quite a pain in the butt for people playing a black deck. And as I said, there's not a hell of a lot of green counter spells, so it's not worth, I don't think it's worth anything money wise, but it is interesting card to point out that hasn't really come back. So Carrion Ants is one of the more unique ones that came in the set. It's not the greatest. Got some gory Wall of Spears artwork. If I get a skeleton stuck in there. Grape Shot Catapult. Now this was a card that I was very happy to pick up a copy of, because I just think it's a really beautiful card, especially for black. You don't really get this sort of now I really like this Lost Soul kind of lady in a gossamer dress. Very beautiful artwork. I've seen it a few times in people's collections. I've never had a copy until I picked up this collection, so I was very happy. And the wording, her hand gently beckons, she whispers your name. but those who go with her are never the same. Yeah, really happy to pick that one up. Channel. I'll probably redo this video and just pick out the ones, the artwork that I like, and go through some of the 4th edition cards that I like. But yeah, as I said, you know, if you're planning to start a collection of Magic, 4th edition is a good way to get hold of some of the old artwork from the ABU era. So next I will do some of the highlights of what we picked up, and yeah, we'll do a closing. Thank you. So this is how I like to store my cards. This is the majority of the cards I picked out of the collection. Even commons, I put them in these penny sleeves, because, you know, one day there won't be so many of these cards left. I put them all in penny sleeves, and then I have these long boxes, and I have a few of these for different sets and collections, and I have one for anything that's worth kind of money. So on to the highlights of what we received in this collection, so which I've pulled out separately. Sorry, this video is a little bit of a mess. My first time doing this, so I'll try and stitch it together the best way I can. But these are the cards that I pulled out. I'm not sure if all of them are worth, you know, lots what they're worth, but I pulled them out because they were unique and they looked interesting, and some of them are worth more than the other ones. So we got an Animate Dead, which is a 4th edition. Take creature from any graveyard and put it directly into play under your control with a -1 counter on. Treat this creature as though it were just summoned. If Animate Dead is removed, bury that creature in its owner's graveyard. So I'll put up on the screen if any of these are worth money. This one's pretty cool, Puffer Extract. I saw this on eBay going, so I thought, you know, it's kind of a cool artifact from Arcadian's masks. Got a little puffer fish in the background here, looking on. It's like that's where you're going, into the bowl. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 to insert and then destroy it. So kind of Parallax Inhibitor, which is a Nemesis rare. Pay 1, sacrifice it, and put a fag counter onto each payment you can. So those beasts that had the fading counter on before, you can keep them around another turn. Anything that has a fading counter on. So yeah, quite useful for anything from the Nemesis block. Fading counters aren't too popular now, but yeah, an interesting mechanic back in the day. Snuff Out. If you control a swamp, you may pay 4 life instead of paying Snuff Out's mana cost. So it's one of those ones where you can have a free card. Anything that has like where you can get it for free rather than paying mana for it, usually is worth some money. Destroy target non-black creature. It can't be regenerated. So yeah, interesting one if you have it in your hand at the start of the turn. Artwork's pretty cool. Looks like some sort of goblin shaman and some of the flying vessels from the Weblight block. Citadel Pain, I've not heard. I hadn't seen this one before before I bought this this set, but apparently it's worth some money. At the end of each player's turn, Citadel Pain deals X damage to that player, where X is the number of untapped lands he or she controls. So it's kind of one that forces people to keep their lands tapped out, otherwise it will do you damage. So it's could be quite useful. Now here's some of the 4th edition rares and uncommons that are worth a bit of money. Anchor Mishra. Each time a player puts a land into play, it deals 2 damage to them. Triskelion. A lot of people have seen this card. Got quite a lot of these Felwar stones, which are just worth a couple of quid each. They're not particularly useful. Add 1 number 2 mana pool. This mana may be any type that land opponent controls. Play this ability as an interrupt. I suppose it could come in handy, but yeah, got quite a few of those. And these are the particularly interesting cards that we got from the set, as I featured this one in the preview, Avatar of Woe. I've got a copy of this card, but it's quite battered up, so I was quite happy to get this very nice copy of it. Really like the artwork. It's not worth particularly any good money as far as I know, but yeah, quite an iconic piece of artwork by Arcade Post. Untitled Tutor. Unless a player pays 2, search your library for a card, put that card into play, into your hand, and then shuffle your library. So kind of like one of the other tutor cards. Slightly strong, but obviously has the ability for someone to interrupt it if they know it's coming. Sky Shroud Behemoth. I think there's millions of these around, but I just really like the old 10/10 monsters that used to be able to get. Again, this is another one with fade in, so that Parallax Inhibitor might keep it around for extra time. And it also comes into play tap, so it's not going to be around for too long unless you have any way to avoid that. So it's one of the old legends from Latua Keldon Overseer, one of the old legends from the vintage days. Used to love collecting these ones. I'm not sure if it's too good in playing terms, but discard 2 cards from your hand, deals X damage to, yeah, not the strongest, but just one of the iconic old legend cards. And this was the big hit from the group. I saw in the lot that there was a lot of prophecy cards in there, so there was a hope that we might pick this one, because Ristic Study is not only has got extremely beautiful artwork from Therese Nielsen, but it's also quite a useful card. So whenever an opponent plays a spell, you may draw a card unless that player plays one. So if they're playing expensive spell, they probably haven't got the extra mana left over. So there's always an opportunity there. Just sits out and play. It's very cheap, and you get a free card from time to time. So, and if you don't, it taps your opponent out of mana. So, yep, I think this card's up to about £30 now. But yeah, it was a very nice copy of the card, and yeah, I was really stoked to find this one in there. Just the one, unfortunately. And the last card we got was a Plains foil from Arcadian Moss. Arcadian Moss, one of the first sets to have foils, so it's always nice to get these old foils and collect them. This one's in a particularly good condition. There's not much of the foil. Sometimes they get a bit misty where the foil reacts with your oil in your hands. So, but this one is in a pretty damn good condition. So yeah, beautiful one to leave it on. So yeah, that was the recent lot that I bought. I think it cost me probably £30, and there was about £60 worth of cards in there. So yeah, very stoked to pick that up. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and speak to you soon. So sorry for some of the technical issues in that video. Up next we've got some eBay buys to go through. Need to open these and leave some feedback for people, and then we'll have, after that, we have big random buy box of cards I'm not sure what's in here. There are some vintage foils in the eBay lot, so but apart from that I have no idea, so go through that together and see what we get. Thanks a lot and see you in the next video.